What's going on, guys? Matty G back here with you on Football with Flags. We've got a number of different topics to discuss today, including World Cup qualifying, the expansion of the 2028 Women's Olympic Tournament, and the group stage for the Gold Cup this summer. To get things started, we'll begin with those that have already qualified now for the 2026 Men's World Cup. And we'll start off with Japan, who have won 8 out of their last 10, including 8 shutouts during that time. That's right, the team leading Group C, 7 points ahead of Australia, wound up qualifying and being the first team to qualify for the tournament in this past window in March. This will be Japan's 8th straight appearance in the Men's World Cup finals, and a team that's always had a lot of great talent, super classy, a wonderful fan base. But this team's going to be coming over with a couple of very heartbreaking losses on their mind considering the last 2 World Cups. Remember the 3-2 loss after leading 2-0 against Belgium in 2018, and then a penalty shootout loss to Croatia in the round of 16 in the 2022 World Cup. Again, Japan, I think, has always been kind of considered one of those top teams, maybe just outside of the upper echelon of the best international sides in the men's game. I think they're going to bring a lot of great talent to this competition and hopefully a couple of knockout stage wins to go along with this appearance. Moving on, but staying in the AFC category, we have Iran, who qualified after a 2-2 draw against Uzbekistan, who were chasing them in Group A. This will be Iran's 4th straight World Cup finals appearance and still looking to get out of the group stage for the first time. Mehdi Taremi has been the leader in goals with 9 so far throughout qualifying, and Sardar Azmoun is not far behind him with 8. I think Iran certainly look at the expanded field as well as a potential opportunity, of course, to gather that first ever knockout stage appearance and possibly a win or two themselves, depending on how they could come out in that draw. As for the OFC region, New Zealand were the automatic qualifiers from this campaign. And again, I think many expected them to be the heavy favorites going into it. But with the expanded field, we knew OFC would get one automatic qualifier, and New Zealand obviously took care of that opportunity. Their 3rd ever appearance in the World Cup finals and their first since 2010 in South Africa. It was an impressive qualifying run for New Zealand. They went unbeaten in the second round of qualification, scoring 19 goals and allowing just 1, and that would be the only goal that they would allow through the entire qualification campaign. As they got to the semifinals, they faced Fiji, where they would win 7-0, and then defeated New Caledonia in the final 3-0 to get their automatic berth into the World Cup finals next summer. Captain Chris Wood led the way with 9 goals. Last but certainly not least was Argentina, who qualified in this previous window from CONMEBOL qualification. They currently sit at 10-1-3 in terms of their record with 31 points, 8 points clear of Ecuador, who are in second place, the defending champs from 2022. Obviously, now will be back in the States in 2026 to defend their title. To no one's surprise either, they have shared the wealth in terms of goals. Messi with 6 throughout qualification thus far, and then guys like Alvarez, Otamendi, Lautaro Martinez, each with 3 themselves. Argentina, of course, have put the ball in the back of the net impressively, along with a goal differential that is plus 18, 10 higher than any other team in the standings. Of course, we know Argentina really love playing on not only U.S. but North American soil as well, winning Copa America last summer. Then, of course, we can't forget their 1986 World Cup title when they won in Mexico. Moving on to another topic in our video today, we've got the IOC, who has decided to expand the women's competition for the 2028 Olympics to 16 teams. And along with that, they have actually pushed the number down for the men's competition from 16 to 12. I believe that is the first time in history as well that we will have a bigger field for the women's than we do the men's competition. Now, for me personally, I absolutely love this move from the IOC. I think it's really important, especially for the women's game, considering that we use the top-level talent from most international teams. Unlike the men, where it's mainly considered an amateur tournament with a lot of U23 players and a few seasoned veterans sprinkled in there. For this, I think getting more exposure for the women's game, a bigger competitive field, which we've certainly seen, even with all the eight debutants that we saw in the World Cup a few years ago. We saw how competitive most of those teams were. I think it's certainly important to get more opportunity out there for other international teams and stars to get a chance to play in the Olympics, because again, it is a very scarce opportunity coming only every 4 years, unlike some other international competitions that we see on a more regular basis. One last thing to discuss with this topic, though, is again with that expansion, like we've discussed briefly last year. Still curious to see how they're going to give out these extra 4 spots. Now, if you remember from last year, France were the host, so that was obviously one automatic qualifier. CONCACAF had 2 with the United States, and then Canada, who I believe beat Jamaica in a playoff. Then you had CONMEBOL, and South America had 2. OFC had 1. Asia had 2. 2 from UEFA and 2 for Africa. I'm sure, without a doubt, UEFA's probably going to get another spot. But with the United States automatically getting a berth, considering they are the host nation, I would assume that potentially CONCACAF would get another one. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I think that there's still some ironing out between tournaments and potential playoff bids and things like that in terms of where they're going to wind up giving these 4 spots out. I haven't really figured that out quite yet, but certainly interested to see what happens as we continue to move forward with this. And we'll do more on this topic as well going forward, but certainly something that we just wanted to touch base with and share with all of you that the women's tournament is expanding, and certainly for a lot of very exciting reasons. And for the last topic of discussion today, the Gold Cup draw, which features, of course, the 16 teams that we'll see competing in the tournament this summer. And to kick things off in Group A, we've got Mexico, Costa Rica, Suriname, and Dominican Republic. In Group B, it's Canada, Honduras, El Salvador, and Curacao. In Group C, we've got Panama, Jamaica, Guatemala, and Guadeloupe. And then last but not least, in Group D, it's the United States, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and Saudi Arabia. Just a couple quick bullet points to share as far as the groups. It'll be very interesting to see how top-heavy this competition is. Obviously, we've seen some great upsets over the years, but considering, of course, the value in trying to kind of help promote the World Cup here on North American soil this upcoming year, it'll be interesting to see what we see from Mexico, Canada, and the United States in terms of just how competitive, how top-heavy of a roster are we going to see with as many of their best stars that they could possibly bring forward, or are we going to start to see maybe some of these teams again, like the United States, bring a lot of youth and younger talent to the competition with a lot less caps and experience. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of these teams, especially teams that already, of course, know they're in the competition and those who feel comfortable that they are going to potentially qualify for the tournament, to bring their absolute best A game as far as everyone that can come and that's healthy enough to play, because this is a great opportunity to help showcase these teams in this competition before next summer's big event. As for the newbies in the tournament, Saudi Arabia, who have been invited for the 2025 edition, and I believe the 2027 edition as well, will be looking to come over and make a bigger statement even than Qatar did in their first appearance in the Gold Cup when they got to the semifinals. Now, of course, they had a much tougher time the second go around, but Saudi Arabia with a great opportunity to make a statement here on North American soil before hopefully coming back over next summer if they are able to qualify. So very curious to see how a lot of these teams that we expect to do very good in the tournament, who they're going to bring. Does Saudi have an opportunity to upset a couple of CONCACAF powerhouses and maybe make a deep run in this competition as well? Certainly a lot of exciting news, and we're going to have more on this tournament going forward. Well, guys, thanks again so much for tuning in. And for those of you who've been with us for a while, apologies again for being away so long. Hopefully going to get back on the right track again with the channel here very soon. For those of you who are new to the channel, certainly welcoming you and anyone else that would like to continue watching as we move forward. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And we hopefully will have plenty more content on the international game, both men and women, in the near future. A lot of great, exciting stuff going forward. But until next time, guys, we'll see you soon. Take care.